I'm based in Sydney. I'm 54 years old.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the Herstory TV and the Herstory podcast. This is Gertrude Mache here in beautiful Melbourne, Australia this time. I'm graced with the presence of yet another fascinating guest coming to us from Australia. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our tribe. Please tell everybody your full name, where you're
Tony
based,
Holmwood.
where you're based, how old you are. Share your story with us today, Tony.
Okay, yes, I'm based in Sydney, which is currently in lockdown at the moment. So, working from home, of course. And I'm 54 years old. Hopefully that brings a lot of wisdom. And my story is all about social emotional intelligence, and basically where that derives from is in the deep past when I was born in Auckland, New Zealand, and basically, was adopted to a family. Unfortunately, that family was a little disrupted when I was quite young. My adopted father died when I was 11 months old, and my adopted mother took it quite hard. And there was, probably some disruptions in terms of my development. So I grew up very early as a social phobic, was very shy, and very reclusive, and pretty much in my own world. And throughout my childhood and early development, that obviously influenced the way I developed my communication, etc. But what that did sort of develop in later life, when I was actually diagnosed, and I wasn't actually diagnosed with social phobia until quite late in my career. So I was about 33 years old, had just come out of a relationship. The doctor went to see a psychiatrist, and the doctor pretty much immediately diagnosed me as a social phobic, which was a revelation to me. I just had no idea why I was that way. And the benefit is that I could then obviously identify the basis of my issues and why I was so reclusive, and why I actually suffered sort of communication problems, etc. And was able to actually address them and go forth. And what came out of that was a lot of personal development, a lot of focus on myself, but also really sort of pushing myself into social situations, and really sort of broadening my understanding of emotional intelligence. I came off a very low base. I was very accepting, very open, but didn't have the confidence, or a lot of confidence, to actually communicate in large circles. So I then had to sort of develop myself through, what was an incredibly large development cycle to fit in with people, and that is the basis of my emotional intelligence. I managed to actually turn my life around and become very, very comfortable in social situations, and to be quite honest, it completely transformed my life. And through that, I wrote a book. It's about behavioral change, and how behaviors. It's called Best Behavior, and it's all about how behavior influences every aspect of our life, and provides insights to my journey and how I actually confronted what is one of life's biggest hurdles, and that's emotional intelligence and emotional maturity, because it's all about developing that muscle, which we're not born with. It is all about maturity and life experience, and you have to dig deep. You have to really sort of understand what your drivers are to actually move forward. And with that, you realize a lot of wisdom, and you kind of get out of your head and release the anxiety, and you know, accept who you are. That self-acceptance takes some time to work through, because, you know, for the first half of our lives, we pretty much develop, you know, from the outside in, and we don't really have a deep insight to who we are until we start to self-reflect, until we start to become mindful and to really sort of understand what our drivers are. So that's my journey.
What a fascinating story. You know, you've just described something that must have been extremely challenging to deal with. And you were functioning up to the age of 33, trying to fit in to boxes that people would put you in. If you were to go back to that younger you, the young boy, the young man who didn't quite feel that everything was okay. You know, there's somebody who's probably listening to this interview right now and is a younger you. What would you have wanted somebody to say to you to be able to pick up on what was wrong?
Yeah. Probably foremost was, Tony, be kind to yourself. And, you know, I was constantly battling who I was. You know, part of being shy, part of being a social phobic was the feeling that everybody thought the worst of me. Because I couldn't communicate, because I couldn't convey to other people or express my point of view. You know, I just saw myself as inept or dumb. You know, I actually performed really well at university and really well at school, especially in mathematics, because as you can imagine, I was deeply analytical, but just trapped in my mind. So, you know, so basically, and the moment I did start to be a little kinder to myself, the moment, you know, I was able to actually release some of that anxiety and become a lot more sort of self-accepting. You know, the biggest transformation I had in my life was walking between two blocks on my way home. I'd been to you know, a friend's party, and I'd just come out of relation 6 months earlier, and I came to this conclusion, which was life-changing, and that was just to be myself. I had been in a relation, I had been trapped in a relationship where the expectations were huge, and I just couldn't relax. And, you know, there was a tense energy of me trying to conform to other people's expectations. And as soon as I kind of realized that, everything lifted. I just had a huge positive change, and that positivity was all about me finding peace in who I was. And, you know, it was just completely sort of a relaxed state of mind where I could be in the moment and in the flow, to speak. But it also had a very physiological impact, because I used to be hunched over. My head was always down walking along the street. And I found as I walked those 2 blocks, my skeleton just straightened out, and my shoulders back, and my head, I think I probably, you know, developed another couple of centimeters, or, you know, of my height. So, and it was quite a revelation just to sort of find that comfort and to be kind in who I was, and to self-accept.
Now, in the corporate world, emotional intelligence is a crucial thing for managers, people to know and to understand. Unfortunately, not a lot of people understand introverts or people who are inwards, and you're expecting everybody to act, perform the same way. You know, I'm an extrovert, so I can't even begin to imagine not being able to say what's on my mind, because from a very early age, I was that little girl at the back of the class, yakking and talking and making jokes. I've always been on the outside. But if you were to talk to somebody in a management position or a leadership position, in terms of teams and identifying people's strengths, people's weaknesses, and being able to draw out those members of their teams who, like you, have got those ideas, but just don't quite know how to put them across. What would you recommend? Give us 3 recommendations for anyone in a management position.
Well, first and foremost, probably looking at the system within the team. So actually, I've just been writing an article for the HR director in the UK on system leadership. And the way leaders now lead is all about the system.
Yes.
Rather than individuals, and just building interaction, which is all about looking at the system and how people interact, and the alliances that are built within the system rather than looking at the person. So, and that provides more of a collective intelligence. But when you start to look within the system, this is point 2, it's all about the behaviors and acceptance, self-acceptance, being able to be part of that system and not feeling any different to anybody else.
Yes.
Being accepted and being respected for your point of view without feeling any sort of detrimental impacts of speaking out and holding a diverse point of view, and just finding that everybody is open to those sort of different perspectives obviously defines a very, very powerful sort of team environment. So and probably the third point is all about the leadership and having a leader who interacts and treats people the same, on the same level, encourages people to speak out. I guess it's not about being an introvert or extrovert, because people need to be both.
Yeah.
Introversion is all about deep reflection.
Yeah.
And being mindful and understanding your value system, and learning to basically lead with your values, and that can take a while for some people, as you're probably aware, in terms of being an extrovert most of your life. Being mindful and learning to self-reflect can be quite obviously difficult for people. So, but it's important to be introverted and extroverted.
Yeah.
So, and we must allow, I guess, the team to actually discover all those behaviours within a team environment, and have people support people to actually understand and learn those behaviours.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, throughout your career, I've noticed that you have mentored, you have volunteered in various organizations. Has this been part of your personal experience, knowing the need for certain types of individuals to get that kind of support?
Yeah, I just, I have obviously a very solid understanding of my struggles, and I do feel that I have something through my experiences to obviously help others to go through, some of the biggest transformations and hurdles in their lives. So, I do see that emotional intelligence is probably one of the biggest hurdles in our life, and I can offer a lot to people to actually help them through it, especially in terms of leadership. So I do a lot of mentoring within the LGBTI community. I do see a lot of LGBTI people who struggle. I struggled in terms of my identity and trying to fit in. So, any sort of advice I can give to make that a little bit easier for people, obviously not only sort of helps them, but gives me an immense feeling of satisfaction to actually pass on that knowledge and to help them through it.
Yeah. And it's all about truly knowing who you are and being comfortable in your own skin and owning that, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And, the more you can be relaxed in who you are, and
Yes.
the more you are open to, being a better listener and accepting people into your life, and, really sort of focusing on diverse perspectives and diverse views, because, rather than seeing the world from the outside in,
Yes.
when you're really comfortable in who you are, and what really drives you, your passions, your values, etc., you
Yeah.
tend to lead from the heart, from
Yes.
the inside out.
And that's
And
the best place to lead from. Really.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you can get out of your head, you can get
Yeah.
out of those stress and worries, and you can be in the moment and just really sort of perceive the people who you are around you, and and be a good leader. It
Yeah.
will help you to connect the dots. And
I love that. I love that. I try to coach my clients. My coaching program is called Speaking from the Heart. That's
yeah,
why when I do these interviews, I never prepare anyone with questions, because they go into their head straight away, trying to remember what they were going to say, to a point when I start communicating with them, that the conversation is not authentic, it's not spontaneous, it's not really genuine. And
yeah.
I agree with you. The heart is a powerful, powerful instrument that we have to use in communication.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. Like passion, one of I guess, the points I make in my article, the HR article, which is on system leadership, is when we define our passion, when we find our passion, it helps us to look forward. We tend to be passionate about a cause, and it helps us to obviously set a vision of the future.
Yeah.
Whereas we tend to be sensitive to the past, and people who haven't developed their passion will probably be more likely to be focused on past events, and will be sensitive. So if you want to develop that passion, you need to basically self-accept and really understand your value system, and that will allow you to look forward, and it'll help you to take your mind off the past.
That is awesome. Well, I really commend how far your journey has come, Tony. From that little boy who lost his dad at 11 months, I can't imagine the trauma your family went through, your mom, and for you to get to the point of 33, struggling, and then breaking out of that. This is such an inspiring story. I'm hoping that I can share this video to as many people as possible. You can
Right.
turn your life around at any point. And it sounds to me like you were ready to come out and just be you. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
that must have been.
Oh, absolutely. And to actually discover that on my own accord, I guess, was, a really solid awakening. And that is the basis of my book. So, yeah, if people want to read about it, and read about, I guess, my influence in the HR world, they can purchase a copy on Amazon.
The title of the book again, Tony?
It's called Best Behavior by Tony Holmwood.
Best Behavior. Awesome. And it's available on Amazon, I take it?
Yes, it is.
All right. I'll put the link with this interview. Thank you so much for coming online and sharing your story with us today. And thank you to everybody who tuned in today. Our stories are so diverse. It's exciting for me to wake up every morning and find another interesting person to talk to share with the community. Have a fantastic day wherever you are in the world. And I will be back again tomorrow with yet another fascinating guest. Thank you, Tony.
Thank you very much, Gertrude. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
Have a great day. Bye.
Bye-bye.